Guys, it's Barbie with Two Friends in the Bible. I hope everybody's doing okay today. I have not done an update video in about 2 weeks, so I thought I better get on here and do some updates. I had about five doctor's appointments plus a couple of scans and just that every 3 months thing I have to do. And so it was crazy busy. And then I'm also working on another study for our Revelation 201 series, and it's going to be on how the seals, the seven seals, the seven churches of Revelation and Matthew 24 connect to each other. They're basically the same thing. It's going to be really interesting. I've got about 13 pages typed, single space so far, and I'm just about done, but I got to go over it and do a few things. So between that and the doctor's appointments, plus my daughter's getting married Saturday, and we're leaving tomorrow to go out of town. So yeah, it's been a little crazy over here in our house, but things will calm down soon. So I hope everybody's doing okay and everyone's surviving all this craziness going on in this crazy world. Um, yeah, you got to admit it, it is. It's a little crazy right now. No, not a little, it's a lot crazy. But, I know the last time I went on here and did an update, we talked about how many people were on a high watch. I mean, a really high watch this year for the rapture of the church. And the fall feasts were supposed to have started around September 26th. Leviticus says that it starts on the first day of the 7th month. And the Hebrew calendar is a little bit different. Well, it's very different than the Gregorian calendar, which is what we use here, like in the United States. And so it's a lot different. So our first day of the 7th month would be July 1st. Well, it's not. It's either September or October for the Jewish calendar. And they base it off of when the harvest is ripe. If they go out there and it's just really green and you can't pick it yet, the harvest is not right. But if the harvest is ready and it is right, then as soon as they see the sliver of the new moon, that is the first day of the month, of the 7th month. So September 26th, the Jewish rabbi said that September 26th, around then, that they had seen the sliver of the moon and that it was good to go. And so they started Rosh Hashanah, and they started the celebrations of Feast of Trumpets, which, went into the Days of Awe and the Day of Atonement. And then we're finishing up with Feast of Trumpets, also known as Sukkot. Just finished up with that. Well, kind of find out, and another reason that, okay, so the Jews are looking for their Messiah. They don't believe that Jesus is their Messiah. They don't believe he was, they believe he was a false prophet, basically. They do not believe that he was the true Messiah, like Christians believe. And so that's how there's a separation. We have the same God. We believe in the same God. We love the same God. Our Old Testament, our first 5 chapters, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, is the Jews' Torah. It's what they call the Torah. And their Hebrew Bible is our Old Testament. So, we still believe what they believe, but the separation occurred when Jesus came. They did not want to believe that he was the Messiah. And there's over 300 scripture references that says that Jesus, that only one man could have fulfilled, and that was Jesus. He fulfilled all 300 prophecies. So unfortunately, they're deceived, and I hate that, because what's happening now is the Jews believe that their Messiah, the one that they're still waiting on, is going to come back now, this fall. And the Christians, we really, we believe Jesus is coming again through a rapture of the church, when he brings the Christians home, but also during the second coming, when he comes back at the end of the 7-year tribulation. And so we believe that the rapture was a high watch for the rapture, this right over the feast. And, and it didn't happen. And that's one of the reasons this channel does not teach pre-trib, mid-trib, or post-trib, because we don't really teach any of it. We just teach you what Revelation is, what it's talking about, who are the main characters, who's the harlot, what's the mark of the beast, what's abomination of desolation, who's the false prophets, the two witnesses, so that you know what to look for, the seals, the bowls, the trumpets, everything that's going on, you know what to look for, so you're not deceived. That's what, to me, is the most important is to make sure you have Christ in your heart, make sure you've accepted Christ. And that way, no matter what, when the rapture happens, you're going. Okay, so yeah, that's the most important. Well, and another reason we don't teach that is in the event that, let's say that it was, there's so many beliefs out there of the pre-trib, there's mid-trib, there's post-trib. Well, what if we were wrong and it really wasn't pre-trib and it was really post-trib? And let's say, for instance, you believed it was pre-trib, okay? And then the rapture didn't happen because truthfully it was mid-trib. This is just an example. Mid-trib is where people believe that you're going to be raptured at the midpoint of the 7-year tribulation. And so that could be right before the abomination of desolation and before the mark of the beast, okay? And then other people believe it might be right after that. But either way, it's at that midpoint. Post-trib believe you're going to be here through the whole entire 7 years, and then you're going to be raptured at the very end. Okay, so really, a lot of the beliefs are the same. It's just when you plug in that rapture. And my concern is if we really, really just focus on nothing but pre, and it's actually, let's say, post, and then all of a sudden, the government, you haven't studied Revelation and you don't understand Daniel's 70 weeks prophecies, and you don't understand Isaiah's prophecies and Ezekiel's and all that. And all of a sudden they come out and say, hey, we got this really great chip that we can put in your hand, and you're going to be able to unlock your car doors, and you're going to be able to unlock your house doors, and you're going to be able to go grocery shopping and just swipe. Well, you're going to think to yourself, oh, well, the rapture hasn't come yet, so this definitely isn't the mark of the beast. Hence why we always say, plan for the end so that you understand everything going on. And we did a video on how to know how to recognize the mark of the beast. Okay, we've done that as well, and how to recognize the Antichrist and everything. Okay, so you plan the end, and that way you understand everything that's going on. And if the event that it is in the end, you're not fooled and deceived and end up, because even, Jesus does say even the elect can be fooled. Okay, and you don't want that, because once you take that mark, it's done deal. It's done. There's no turning back. You are finished. And we don't want something like that to happen, And yeah, even the elect can be fooled. So that's why we don't teach an actual pre, mid, or post, and why we always say, just wait till, just look at it as if it's the end, okay? And, we also, this year, there was a Shemitah cycle starting in the book of Leviticus. God instructs, I think it's Leviticus, maybe Exodus, but God instructs the Israelites to till the earth for 6 years. And then on that 7th year to rest. Okay. Well, the Jews just got out of that 7th year. Okay. Of rest. And then the new year started September 26th. It will start on Rosh Hashanah, also known as Feast of Trumpets. So between that, the red heifer showing up, all these crazy wars, everything going on, plus the Jewish rabbis are now announcing that they are actually speaking to the Messiah. And There's signs all up in New York. Messiah's coming, Messiah's coming. I mean, it's really crazy. And another reason you really need to understand who is the Antichrist is so that you aren't fooled, because a lot of Christians are going to believe that this is the Antichrist coming. And maybe it is, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a false Messiah. Okay. Just like the Muslims are going to have one come up. It's going to be a false Messiah. I don't think it's going to be the true Antichrist. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. So that's why you really want to know. So with that said, Flora and I, the girl that does these videos with me, we kind of did not think that the rapture would happen this fall. No reason for it. None whatsoever. Just our gut just said, I think it's going to be next year. I think we got one more year. And we don't know that for sure. It could happen tomorrow. Okay. So when all of this did not happen, which it just ended a couple days ago, but when all of that did not happen, we ended up starting to do, we were sitting here and we were like, something don't feel right, something don't feel right, something doesn't feel right about the dates. So we got to looking and we started going over some of the dates. And sure enough, it looks like we're off by a month. Not us personally, but the Jews, or whoever makes the calendar and the dates and whatnot, because from what I'm understanding is when they went in and the sliver of the moon happened in September, the barley wasn't right. It was not ready to be plucked. It was still green. It wasn't edible. So that meant it, from what I understand, that, and I'm still studying, but from what I understand, that meant it should have been put off another month, October 26th. So people are believing that October 26th is really going to be the true Rosh Hashanah and the true Feast of Trumpets. And so that would be the first day of the month. And then your 10th day of the month is like your Day of Atonement. Your 15th day of the month is your Feast of Tabernacles, which would bring us into, if it's the October 26th, then that would be the day. As soon as they see the sliver of the moon, that will be the day that Rosh Hashanah and Feast of Trumpets start. And that's the first day of the month. And then on the 10th day of the month is, I believe, the Day of Atonement. And then the 15th day of the month, look in Leviticus chapter 23, it tells you everything. But the 15th day of the month is going to be, which would be actually like the 10th of November. The 15th day of the month would be the 10th of November, because you got October 26th through the 31st, which is 5 days. And then 10 more days to make it 15th day would be the 10th of November. And what is interesting about the 10th of November is that is also Heshvan. Okay, now if you've never had a Jewish calendar, I highly recommend pulling you up on one you can just probably pull one up on Google, print it. I actually have this book. I really like this book that has my calendar in it for the Jewish calendar. But in November, that's the 8th month of their calendar. It's called Heshvan. Well, November 11th is the celebration, the anniversary of Noah's Ark. Okay, so it's interesting that if you actually look at what we're believing, or what many are believing is the actual calendar date, October 26th, that it would bring us right into the anniversary of Noah's Ark and when the flood and all that happened. And, the flood, remember, the only ones that were righteous was Noah and his family, and they put them in the ark, shut the door, and then all the floods came. And, back then they'd never heard of rain. It never done anything but misted from the ground. There was no rain. So the waters, rose and rose and rose, and the ark was brought all the way up to the skies, and God brought them out of the raft. That was the first raft. They brought them out of the raft. And then when the raft was over and the waters receded, they got to come back down. Kind of symbolizes the rapture. And then when we get to come back at the War of Armageddon to be on the millennial, because we're taken up out of the wrath of God, out of the, out of all that wrath and everything that's going to happen. And we're protected until the end. And then when it's safe, we're brought back down to serve 1,000 years in the millennial. So the month of November is called Heshvan. Okay. And so just thought that was interesting. Just thought I would throw that at you. And honestly, that was somewhat of a quick video. I mean, a quick explanation. If you really want to get a better explanation, someone who gets even more deeper into that, there's a guy on, his name is Bob Barber, and he is on YouTube. And his video is called End Time Dreams and Vision. End Time, EENDTIME, dreams, and then the symbol for ant, vision. And it's on YouTube. And he did a video October 13th with all kinds of, explanations and colors and, everything so that you can see, explaining why many people are realizing, wait a second, the dates are wrong. So it wasn't just me and Flora. We were both going, I don't know why, but something don't feel right. Something's not right with these dates. And so we pulled the Bible out and we're reading it and we're like, I'm just not understanding it. And so we studied more and then we kind of started understanding it. Then we found some people that understood it better than us and we studied, and anyway, so there is a chance it still could happen then, guys. And you figure you got that if indeed it's October 26th, that means the Shemitah cycle starts then. The Jubilee cycle starts 10 days after the Shemitah. The Feast of Tabernacles ends around the 10th of November. The 11th is the anniversary, and it's the Heshvan, the date of the Heshvan, which when you read in Noah's Ark about his story, it talks about Heshvan, the 8th month and X amount of days, and they were in the Ark for a total of a year and 10 days. So anyway, I'm going to get on now and get some actual news stuff going on. And I found out today, and I don't know exactly what happened and why, but UK's Prime Minister Liz Truss resigned from office. She was only in office 6 weeks, and a lot of people were super excited that she had got elected because her campaign was based on, some of her campaigns was based on moving the UK's embassy to Jerusalem, just like the United States did a couple years ago. But she was on, and not sure what happened yet. I'm still gonna have to figure that one out. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine asked Zelensky to sever ties with Iran. And I'm sure that's going to happen. Russia has destroyed close to 50% of Ukraine's electricity. And this is happening and coming on right on the eve of winter. Yeah, and they get some brutal winters out there. So pray for the people of Russia and Ukraine, okay? This is not necessarily, this is government stuff going on, okay? So pray for both of them. It has not been officially announced yet, but it appears that Belarus is joining sides with Russia. Their army has been positioned on the front lines with armor, artillery, and a large infantry force. Ukrainian forces are stationed at the northern front. Therefore, they're not going to be able to help on any other fronts, thus splitting their army, which is going to help Russia. So what they had to do was, since Russia has, or Belarus has put, and I think it's 70,000 troops right on that line of Belarus and Ukraine. So Zelensky had to move some guys over there for protection, which has now separated his army, which I don't know that necessarily was happening before, but now the army is separated. So it's weakened his army, which is helping Russia. It's interesting. And just remember, several of the videos that I've reported on before, don't underestimate Putin. Don't underestimate him. So many people been like, oh, Putin's getting his booty whooped. He's getting this, he's getting that. Don't underestimate him. Russia is part of the Gog-Magog war. They are the main instigators of the Gog-Magog war. They are Magog. And if you don't know what the Gog-Magog war is, read Ezekiel 38:39. Russia is Rosh. They form an alliance with Iran, which I think was known as Persia back then, and Turkey and Syria, which I think was Assyria back then. And they form an alliance and they attack Israel from the north. Now, at that point in time, God's going to put a hook in their jaw, and they're going to lose about 90% of their entire force. All the countries are. So they're going to be defeated, and Israel's going to be fine. However, that has to happen for the end times. And so Russia can't be crippled, and if for this to happen, so, or taken out, it can't be. So don't underestimate them. Don't underestimate them. Russia has declared martial law in the areas that they annexed in Ukraine. This is to give the Kremlins a lot more control. And I did hear today, and not sure, didn't get a chance to actually make sure this was a reliable source, but I'm going to repeat it. China and India have both told Putin that if he pulls out the nukes and uses them, then they're done with them. They're helping and whatever right now, but if he pulls out the nukes, they're done. And I don't know, some reason I don't think that's true, but that's what was reported. So we'll keep an eye on that. Iran and Russia have been saying over the last couple of weeks that Iran is not helping Russia with drones. They've both been saying this, but before, we've been seeing cargo planes flying in there. So, and then Ukraine found, as long as it was true, and they were telling us the truth, they found one of the drones that Russia sent in with Iran's information on it. So, but anyway, they were reporting this. Well, now they're just outright admitting it. And they're saying that Tehran has promised to send surface-to-surface missiles to Russia. This is in addition to the Feta 110s and the Zulfikar missiles being sent that they had already sent, the drones, everything. And they're reporting that a lot of cargo planes are being seen flying from Tehran to Moscow. And there's drones and whatnot on those things. It's not food or nothing like that. It's equipment. So they're going to be using those against against Ukraine. So I know that they'll probably Ukraine's going to end up cutting ties with Iran. Let's see, there was a possibility that Putin is going to make an actual declaration of war today and close his borders. When I got on here, I had not seen it had happened yet, but that is reported to happen today. They are like 10 hours ahead of us in time, so maybe tomorrow, but it was reported today. It's a law in Russia that you can't say it's a war. You have to say it's a military operation. So even though we all know it's a war at this point, citizens have to say it's a military operation. So, yeah. So I guess once he declares it as war, they can actually call it war. Several countries, including China and India, have advised their citizens to leave Ukraine. So you got to ask, what do they know? What is China and India and a couple other countries? What do they know that they need to leave Ukraine? So, yeah, that's interesting. Russia, China, and several of their allies filed a joint statement today pushing to enact Article 6 of the Biological Weapons Conventions, which would begin the cooperative UN investigation of the U.S.-Ukraine violations of the International Biological Weapons Treaty. So they're asking them the UN to basically, most likely, where we've been sending so much equipment. Did we violate that? Article 6. I know when Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons, I know that United States agreed to assist them if there was ever an issue, but I don't know to what extent, to the point that it's depleting our military and financially depleting us. I'm not sure. I wouldn't think so. So I feel like maybe there's been too much help, which many people say that, So that's one of the reasons they're having them look into it. Okay, Russia, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I have not been able to find anything out on that, on the submarine from Russia, the was it Belgorod? And I finally heard a little bit today. Russia's Belgorod, it's a nuclear submarine that has the Poseidon missiles on it. I think it can hold up to 6 Poseidon missiles, and they're extremely powerful. They could wipe out the whole East Coast, the United States. But they did see it today. I mean, it was spotted, and it's 275 miles from NATO's border. I'm sure NATO ain't happy about that. Keep an eye on it and see what's going on. I don't know if it just came up for a little bit and if it's gone back down again. Apparently, when it's down, even the United States' infrared satellites cannot detect it. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it, see what's going on. Our U.S. military detected 2 Russian Tupolev, Tupolev, 95 MS strategic bombers flying over the Pacific Ocean, the Bering Sea, and the Sea of Okhotsk, Hotsk, and it passed really close to Alaska. This is something similar like this with China and Russia happened just a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know if they're planning on doing something or if they're just beefing up, hey, look what we can do. There ain't nothing you can do about it type thing. So we'll keep an eye on that too. Yesterday, it was reported that the United States had 5 war nuclear command control planes flying over the country, as well as a presidential doomsday plane. Now, if you don't know what a doomsday plane is, that's basically a plane that the president and I guess some of his people get into in the event of a serious issue like a nuclear bomb, and it stays in the sky. And it just continues to fly, and they have refueling jets up there with it. And I'm sure military and everything else to stay with it, and it stays up there until whatever's going on is over. Apparently they cannot hang them up there, maybe. I don't know, but apparently they're more protected up there. And so that's what a doomsday plane is. And it will stay up there with refueling planes and military and whatnot until the situation is over. So there was 5 war nuclear command control planes and a doomsday plane, presidential doomsday plane. It's normal to have 1, maybe 2 of these war nuclear command planes, but it's not normal to have 5. So we don't know if there was a threat or were they just doing a practice. Not sure, but it's still quite strange. 2 of those war nuclear command control planes were reported over Oklahoma. 1 was over Nevada. 1 was over Virginia, and 1 was over international waters, which is a little odd. Okay, so Britain's Defense Secretary Ben Wallace made an urgent visit to D.C. today, Washington, D.C., and is planning to meet with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Don't know what that's all about, but with the Prime Minister resigning and then now him meeting with our guy, I don't know what's going on. Okay, US B-1B bombers arrived in Guam due to the tensions with North Korea. North Korea has conducted missile tests and is preparing for potential nuclear testing. And of course, that's got South Korea and probably Japan on a 24-hour watch. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. Rocket Man's getting happy fingers again. All right, number 46 is stated that he plans to release 15 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Reserve in order to lower gas prices. Of course, this is coming right before the elections. So when the elections are over, plan on your gas prices to skyrocket. Okay, this is just a elections ploy. That's all it is. And while he's depleting our strategic oil. So yeah, don't get excited. Maybe enjoy it for a week or two because the prices might go down, but yeah, they're going to go back up. So just remember that. Okay, the U.S. Commander of the Navy, Admiral Mike Gilday, has advised for the possibility of China invading Taiwan before 2024. You know, I'm not a military person, certainly not an admiral, but I think anyone could have figured that out if they really thought about it. In fact, I think I reported on that. In fact, I know I did reported on that just a couple of weeks ago because, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You know, if you've got a weak administration, that's the time to play. And if you know, China doesn't know who's going to be back in office in 2024. Big idea that it's going to be number 45 is going to run again, and he has a good chance. We don't know that though. He hasn't said it, and it could be someone even better. Who knows? But China doesn't know. So yeah, that didn't take an admiral to tell you that that was going to happen. In fact, I don't think it will be maybe a few months or so into 2023 at the most. And he's still waiting to see what happens in Russia. Okay, there's been a lot more reports on Hunter on his laptop about what was on his laptop. Apparently, it was really criminal, which we knew there was some criminal stuff on there, but I think it was even more so than what we were aware of. Apparently, there's going to be some indictments. We'll see. We don't really know that for sure, but we'll definitely see. Okay, here's something oh wait, California reported an earthquake of magnitude of 4.3, and Texas had one of a 3.5. This was yesterday. So Earth is still, you know, we still got a lot of shaking going on all out in the world, even if we haven't reported it. There's still going on everywhere. Okay, here's something that's kind of interesting. Oh, it's all interesting, but this is really interesting. Astronomers had detected gargantuan, I'm sorry, I can't say the word, but gargantuan blast of energy in space. And it appears to be traveling 7 times faster than the speed of light. It was moving so fast that the collision created ripples in the fabric of space-time. These type of disturbances are known as gravitational waves. This actually caused the Antarctic iceberg to be ripped in half from a powerful ocean current. So it took that big old iceberg and just from away because it was so powerful. I thought that was interesting because, you know, one of the things about the end times is astronomical events will happen. A new Palestinian, and that's the way God's trying to get our attention. Okay, so with things like that. A new Palestinian terror group is gaining popularity rapidly. It's called the Lion's Den Youth Movement and is from Nablus Biblical Shishon in Palestine, but it's getting very popular and growing, and it's getting a lot of support. So I think we're getting ready to see another terrorist group. Like, you know, we don't have enough already, right? Hezbollah, Islamic Jihads, Hezbollah, Hamas, oh my goodness, you know, tons of them. Okay, PM Lapid of Israel told Arabs media that he will protect Muslim prayer on the Temple Mount and will not allow Jewish prayer. This is Israel's PM. Yeah. God ain't gonna like that. No, he's not gonna like that at all. And, you know, Israel has elections November 1st. And I've seen 2 reports. One report is that Netanyahu, because you know it's Lapid and Netanyahu, and if you don't know who Netanyahu is, he was the prime minister before the guy that got taken out, and then Lapid took over as an interim. Yeah, Israel's got a lot of problems with their government and getting an actual government settled in. They've had multiple elections, like 5 in 3 years. Well, Netanyahu was basically two prime ministers ago, but he didn't have enough support, so we ended up losing. And this other guy, and I can't recall his name, got in, and then he got booted out pretty quick. And then Lapid's in the interim, and I think it's a bad idea for someone who's just in there temporarily. He's only been in there like 4 or 5 months, and just till November 1st. I think it's a bad idea for him to be making big decisions like that. I think he just needs to be in there to keep everything going as it is until they have elections. But he's not. He's just he's doing a lot of things like that, and it's not good, and it's not for the benefit of Israel, and it certainly is not God's scripture. The Israel is God's chosen, that's his promised land. Yeah. So it's not going to end well. So all we can do really is pray that Netanyahu gets back in. Lapid's he's not a good prime minister. But two stories. One, I'm hearing Lapid's in the running and that Netanyahu has no chance. The other is that Netanyahu's in the running and Lapid's not. So I'm hearing both right now. We'll just have to keep an eye on it, see and pray and pray that he doesn't get in. Okay, so Hollywood, California's mayor said their reservoir is as low as he has ever seen it. This is due to all the droughts. We're having so many droughts, floods, fires, all that. Well, he announced that theirs is lower than it's ever been. And that's not good. That just shows you, more reason for food famines and different things. Not that they necessarily grow food there, but it just shows you what else has gone on from all that in preparing for famines and food shortages. Chase Bank and JP Morgan have canceled all religious nonprofit checking accounts. That's interesting. They said that they will reconsider letting them have their accounts if the nonprofits provide a donor list and a list of political candidates they intend to support. Isn't that crazy? I mean, who thought we would ever live to see this? I mean, especially people in my age group. Yeah, if or even older, whoever thought that we would live to see this? And there's so many companies going for the Christians now. We're all getting taken off of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're getting censored. Thank goodness people put together things like Rumble and Truth Social, I guess. But I don't know. I'm on there, but I don't really see much on that. But it does kind of resembles Twitter. And then Rumble kind of, I guess, resembles YouTube and Facebook together. But good that they've got it as of now, but it'll just be a matter of time for that gets kicked down too. But yeah, I mean, Christians are just getting kicked off left and right, and it's just so ironic because all this is biblical. All this. I mean, no, it doesn't say in the Bible that you're going to be kicked off of YouTube and Twitter. No, it doesn't say that, but it says these type of things are going to happen, and I think Satan's kind of in charge of the airwaves. So what better way to do it? Get us off so people can't hear. Can't hear the truth, I guess. Okay, so the UN has said that the U.S. has 25 days left of diesel. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but the UN said it. Yeah, 25 days left of diesel. We thought we were having problems with gas and whatnot. Never thought about diesel, huh? Which, I mean, diesel is gas, but it's a different, it's what runs our trucks and stuff. So, all right, guys, that was it as far as my updates. I will get back next week. I'm going to leave tomorrow for my daughter's wedding, and we'll be gone all weekend and then be back next week. So we'll get back on track next week. Guys, all the signs Jesus told us about, especially like in Matthew 24, plus all the prophecies that's being fulfilled and things happening. And, like even the Jews just saying they've got a Messiah, even though as Christians, we know that that's a false Messiah. The point is those things are going to happen. False messiahs, false prophets, and all these things happen. And it used to be you might see something happen here, something happen there. Now it's like, you would see something maybe once every year or two that might be like, oh, that's biblical. That's part of a prophecy, like when Israel became a nation, 1948, fig tree generation, prophecy. And then you would see something like once here, twice, like that. And then all of a sudden you would see stuff, definitely maybe every 6 months. And then it was monthly. Now I'm telling you, man, it's like almost every second. By the time I get off of this video, it's going to be a million new things. I mean, it's happening at rapid speed. And that's exactly how we have always said it was. If you've studied eschatology in times, we've always said it was going to happen like that, that when it did start happening, it was going to be quick. And that's exactly what's happening. Jesus didn't tell us to look up when all the signs were done. No, he said look up always, but especially when you start seeing the signs that he gives you in Matthew 24. It's also in Mark and Luke. It's the Olivet discourse, and he tells you all this, what to look for, and your redemption draweth nigh, and everything, wars and rumors of wars. Okay, wars and rumors of wars. Well, we got wars, and now we got rumors of wars because this is looking like it's going to escalate. So I've got rumors of wars. False prophets and messiahs. We definitely got that going on. Famines. Definitely got that going on. Sri Lanka is out of food. Africa's predicted. Food pantries are predicted to be closed by the end of the year. We're eating on 2021 food. We're not even eating on 2022's food. What we're eating right now is 2021, and we're already seeing some empty shelves. And we've had about a 50% shortage this year in different types of products, whether it's rice or whatever. We've had about a 50% shortage, and fertilizers like tripled in cost, if not quadrupled. So you can imagine what 2023 is going to be like. So, you got that. He warns you of famines and earthquakes. In the Greek word, the New Testament was written in Greek, and the Greek word for earthquake is seismos, which means it can be like like a water tsunami. It's not just shaking of the ground. Okay, it could be a tsunami, it could be tornadoes, it can be hurricanes, all of that. Okay, it's a combination, seismos, SESMOS. Look it up, it's a Greek word. Okay, so anyway, just keep looking up. Our redemption does draw nigh, and it is coming. It is definitely coming, but again, make sure to plan as if the rapture is going to happen at the end. And if it doesn't, praise the Lord, hot dog. And if we've made all these plans and we've got food in our house and we've got extra, firewood, whatever to plan, and we are raptured, someone will need that. You'll be blessing someone. Okay, so don't, so you're not wasting anything. And then if you don't end up using it, for whatever reason, let's just say everything goes back to normal, which we all know it's not going to. It's just not. It's not possible. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I just don't see it. I think the seals are starting to open, and there's just too much has happened. I don't, and I could be wrong. I'm not God. Only God knows, right? But just my gut says it's not. So just plan as if, we're going to be here to the end, and just keep looking up your redemption draw nigh, and be positive and happy, because as a Christian, we are blessed to be living in this time. Blessed to be seeing everything, all these prophecies just fulfill themselves, and open, seals beginning to open, and all these things that's happening, whether it's the red heifers or, the temple being built or Messiah coming on the scene or whatever. We were born, we were chosen to be born during this time. And nowhere in the world are we told that life's going to be all unicorns and ice cream. So no words that say that. So we just have to keep looking up our redemption drawing nigh and just be smart. God has given us this word, and that word tells us everything that's going to happen. He's given great people that teach on here and on the YouTube until it's taken down. He gives us great people. Um, just keep learning and keep looking up. It's going to be good. We're going to be good. It's going to be okay. And I'm excited that we're getting to see some of this. Yeah, it's a little scary, but don't be scared. You know, it's going to be so worth it. And to be privileged to be in this time, yeah, look at it that way. If y'all have questions, leave me a comment, send me an email, TwofriendsandaBible@gmail.com. And thank you guys for listening. And if you would please subscribe and please share these videos, I would so appreciate it. We're trying to get this YouTube channel built, and it's not going very fast. So we're really trying to get it built up. We want to get this word out there, want people to see. So if you guys would share, I really appreciate it. And then subscribe, check like. And if you got questions, just let us know. Maranatha, you guys have a great day. Week. Bye. Ah.